Hey, this is Dave from Bay Stencil. So you just got your single layer stencil in the mail and you're wondering, how do I get started? Well, let's see what's inside first. We got some recycled cardboard. We've got a key sheet. We got our stencil inside. And we got a cute little extra here. This week looks like it's a robot. That should be fun. When you order a single layer stencil, I look at it and I say, is that going to be better painted black on white or white on black? So you might have a white on black stencil, or you may have a black on white stencil. This one, turns out, is going to look best when we paint black on white. Now, occasionally I get a stencil order for an image that really needs to have kind of an outline layer to help you paint the stencil. This one doesn't need it, but sometimes it really comes in handy. So occasionally, very occasionally, there might be an extra outline layer stencil in your package as well. So what are we going to need to paint the stencil? It's going to help to have a latex glove to keep your hand clean, or hands clean. It's going to help to have some masking tape so that we can tape the edges of the stencil down and make sure it stays in place. Or maybe even to have some of this repositionable mounting spray or tacking spray. I like to have a stick just so I can tap the stencil and make sure it's flush with the surface when I'm painting. Now, if you are spray painting, you're probably going to want to have something like this. Now, I'm not your mom, but I have painted murals for an entire day without a mask, and when I blew my nose the next day, I saw how much paint was in my lungs, and it just made me feel terrible. So, get a mask and make sure you're in a big, well-ventilated area when you're painting, okay? If you're not the spray painting type, you might have this free-flowing acrylic paint. You might be using dabber brushes to paint your stencil, and that's great. And if you're lucky, you might also have a helper with you who wants a treat. This is Orfea the Wonder Dog. She only speaks Bulgarian. I've been trying to teach her English, but she only speaks Bulgarian. So I always test paint my stencils before I paint them on a really high value surface. And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to paint mine actually on the envelope that it came in so that when I store it, I know exactly what's inside. Smart, huh? When I paint, I always leave about 10 to 12 inches between the can and the surface, and I always try to hold the can as close to vertical as possible. If you just try to spray paint like this, you're not going to get anything except a clogged jet. I'm going to press down on the cap firmly, but I'm going to keep the can moving all the time. I don't want a lot of paint building up on the stencil because it's just going to gum it up. And this is a technique that you should probably practice before you actually spray your stencil, because it wouldn't do to have a really wet, gummy stencil on your very first time out. Notice that I chose not to tack the stencil down, and I didn't even secure it on all four sides. I just used this brush to hold the stencil close to the surface wherever I was spraying, and that way it keeps the paint from spraying underneath the stencil and making this really muddy. Okay, so this part right here, I don't really like it. I don't think we need it. Doesn't need to be there to hold the stencil together, so I'm going to cut that part out. I'm also going to cut this little bridge here, although it didn't look like it really made a big difference to us. Let's see. Stencil's still a little wet. It's got a little bit tacky paint on it. Okay, so that, we're just going to toss it. And as a result, the stencil is a little bit floppier, but that distracting detail is going to totally go away. There we go. And I don't miss those details here at all. I think it's a much better stencil without those bridges. So there we go. Don't be afraid to modify it a little bit. Just don't take out too many bridges, because if you do that, some pieces might fall out or become really unstable. I like how this came out. And I couldn't resist. I gotta paint this little robot here. You never know what little extra might be in the package for you. Now that I've had a couple practice runs, I'm pretty confident that I could paint this stencil on just about any flat surface. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it dry for about 24 hours, and then I'm going to put it back on top of its flat sheet and put it inside this envelope with its nice image right on top that tells me exactly what's inside, and then it'll be ready the next time I want to use it. So happy painting, and let me know if you don't find everything you need. This is Dave signing off from Bay Stencil. If you ordered a single layer stencil and it comes with something like this, that looks like this, and then maybe it's just something like mask on it or reverse mask, then chances are that I saw fit to put something in it that will help you to do a little bit of something extra with your stencil. So happy painting, and let me know if you don't find everything you need. This is Dave in Orfea signing off from Bay Stencil.